Today I'm going to share with you a free, quick action you can start taking today to improve your health. So let's dive in. Hi, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Today, as promised, we're going to talk about an action you can take that is free and relatively quick. What I'm talking about today is meditation. Meditation has two parts to it: breathing and mindfulness. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how both of these things can actually improve your immune health. So when it comes to the breathing piece, if you're like me and you love to learn about science and biology, I highly recommend you listen to the Huberman Lab podcast with Andrew Huberman. He is an infinite wealth of knowledge, and I found myself fascinated listening to his episode on all things breathing. But what's important to know is that part of the benefits of meditation in terms of breathing come from the fact that you practice nasal breathing through your nose. And what I've learned is, in fact, this is beneficial to do all the time. So practicing breathing through your nose throughout the day increases the amount of oxygen you get into your body. And basically the way this happens is that when we breathe through our nose, it is a smaller opening than our mouth. So there is more friction, which causes our lungs to fill up more slowly, which allows more oxygen into our body. So you can kind of try it at home now as an experiment. So take a deep breath in through your nose, and then try doing the same thing with your mouth. So you'll notice when you're breathing through your mouth that your lungs will fill up much more quickly, meaning that you're getting less oxygen into your lungs with every breath than you do when you're breathing through your nose. And so even just the practice of meditating with nasal breathing, for myself personally, has improved my ability to nasal breathe all day long. Some people even take this a step further, and they will actually tape their mouth closed when they sleep at night to improve their nasal breathing. I'm not quite brave enough to do that. I do have a little bit of claustrophobia, and I feel like that would just be a little bit too scary for me now. That's not to say I will never try that. But for now, I'm working on my mindfulness, even outside of meditation, and that means nasal breathing throughout the day. Another great podcast to listen to is Dr. Mark Hyman, and he talks a lot about the benefits of meditation. And one of the big ones he talked about that really got my ears opening was the fact that meditation can actually reduce inflammation in your body. Now, I'll admit, I've always been a bit of a skeptic, and I've always felt that meditation wasn't for me, that I just really wasn't that kind of person to really connect to the whole idea of meditating. It felt a little woo-woo to me, and I'm more of a scientific action person, and so it really didn't speak to me. However, the more research and learning that I've done around improving my health, the more benefits that I keep reading about for meditation. And much like Alice in Wonderland, I just became curiouser and curiouser to the point where I just had to give it a try. So for me, the idea of sitting for 10 minutes still, not doing anything or thinking about anything, felt impossible. So honestly, I just started with my smartwatch. It has a little mindfulness moment. It's literally 1 minute of breathing and focusing. And I would do that once a day. Then I started to do it in the morning, at night, and I noticed that it left me feeling calmer. And so I graduated up slowly until I eventually got to the point where now I'm meditating about 10 minutes a day. And I love to do it first thing in the morning. I find it just sets my day off on the right track. The reality is there are just so many great benefits to meditating. It reduces anxiety, it reduces stress, It reduces blood pressure, it reduces depression, and of course, it increases our immune health. And certainly we know that all of those things like stress, anxiety, depression, they set off inflammation in our bodies, which suppress our immune system. So we know when we have an immune disease, that certainly being able to handle stress, anxiety, and depression is extremely beneficial, and helping to boost our immune health in a natural way, I'm all for that. The great thing about meditation is there's no side effects. So they're not negative ones anyway. There's certainly a lot of great positive side effects, as I've talked about. So having said that, I encourage you to give it a try. Skeptic or not, it takes a few minutes of your day, and it costs nothing. You can get free meditations on YouTube. You can put on some calming music and just do it yourself. Another great tip that I learned was that when your mind starts to wander, that's okay. Personally, I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to do something unless I can do it really well. And with meditation, I really struggled because my mind would often wander. What I learned though is that it's not in the wandering that you fail, it's actually your mind is going to wander. That is just the way it is. But the bringing back your focus or attention on the present moment and letting those thoughts drift away like a sailboat on the sea, that practice is actually what strengthens your attention and focus. And there have been some amazing studies done where they've actually done brain scans on people who have meditated on a consistent basis over time. And even in as short as 6 to 8 weeks, they have noticed that the hippocampus, which is where we have our learning and memory, it's actually increased in thickness, the cortical stem anyway. And they've also noticed that the amygdala, which is where our stress and depression and anxiety come from, can reside, that the cells have actually shrunk in that area. So when they say that it really does affect stress, anxiety, and depression, not only does it do that at a mental level, it actually does it at a physical level, which to me is just fascinating. So I encourage you to give it a try. Try even just a 7-day challenge. Give yourself a 7-day challenge. My friend Ben Spangle, who has an amazing podcast called The Pursuit, he actually has a free 7-day meditation challenge, which I personally tried myself, and I was hooked. I loved it. So it's free. There's lots of different options out there that you can try. I encourage you to try one and let me know. Let me know if it worked for you. Maybe you don't notice a difference right away. When I first started, I didn't necessarily notice a drastic difference, but I did notice a sense of calm that I would carry with me through the day, and it was subtle. And then one day I had an awful day at work. One of those days where just everything that could go wrong did. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And I came home and my husband took one look at me and was like, "What happened?" And I was like, you know what? I just need to go and take a moment. And so I went up and I found a quiet place and I actually meditated, which is something I never would have done before. And 5 minutes of breathing and calm and just focusing on being present, letting go of the day that I had had up until then, changed everything. I came out and I felt like I was centered again. I felt like I was calm and I was ready to give my 100% of myself to my family without carrying all the garbage that had been piled on me that day at work, without carrying that with me into my family life at home. And that alone for me was a light bulb moment. That's when I really, truly saw the impact of meditation on me personally. And since then, I have been a believer. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that this tip can help you find your most vibrant health. Until next time, stay healthy.